Welcome to your new favorite corner of YouTube's Soft Life Finance, where money talk finally makes sense, and around here, we break down personal finance, smart money moves, and real strategies for building wealth. No jargon, no judgment, just real talk. Whether you're trying to save your first 100K, get out of debt, or grow your income, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, because your journey to financial freedom starts right now.
Today we're tackling something that, well, can feel pretty daunting.
Yeah.
Budgeting. But specifically, budgeting when you feel like you genuinely have no money. Like zero spare cash.
Right. Where do you even begin?
Exactly. The sources you brought in address this head on. So if you're listening and feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed about trying to budget when things are tight, this deep dive is for you. We want to sort of unpack how it can be done and, maybe more importantly, why it's still valuable.
Definitely. And it's interesting, the sources suggest this is actually when budgeting is most crucial. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it?
It really does.
But one piece talks about discovering the true meaning and benefits of budgeting right then. It frames it as a tool for finding stability, maybe even getting out of debt.
Okay, so less about managing overflowing wealth and more about navigation.
Exactly. Navigating with limited resources. It's a shift in thinking.
So this idea of a budget as a guide, I mean, if your wallet's empty, a roadmap seems a bit, I don't know, optimistic.
Yeah, I get that. But think about it this way. Even with very little income, a budget just shows you where that money is going.
Okay. Just the act of tracking it.
Yes. It's about awareness. Turning the lights on, basically.
Right.
Does knowing where things stand, even if it's not much, give you some power back?
I think it has to, right? Knowledge is power, even if the knowledge is I have 5 pounds left till Tuesday.
Absolutely. And building on that awareness, another practical thing the sources mention is sinking funds.
Okay, now that sounds like something for people with extra cash. Sinking funds. When I feel like I'm already sunk.
I know the names may be not helpful, but forget the name for a second. The actual idea is setting aside tiny amounts, really small,
Sure.
for specific future things. Could be expected, like maybe needing new shoes eventually, or unexpected, like the boiler breaking.
So even if it's just putting a pound coin in a jar labeled emergency.
Precisely. It might seem laughably small compared to the potential cost, but it's about building the habit. It's proactive.
Instead of purely reactive, which is easy to feel when you're broke.
Exactly. And that ties into what both sources really emphasize, taking control.
Right, that feeling of helplessness can be overwhelming when money is tight.
It really can. So budgeting, even in this stripped down way, is presented as that first step. Understand your situation, then make conscious choices, however limited they feel.
So it's not just about restriction, like I can't buy coffee.
Not primarily, no. It might lead to decisions like that, but the core is about developing, as one source puts it, strong money management skills.
Okay, so skills like
Yeah.
just tracking spending.
Yeah.
Understanding what income you do have.
The basics. And these are foundational skills, aren't they? Useful no matter how much money you have later on.
Yeah, that makes sense. You build the muscle when things are tough,
You got it. And that leads directly to the idea of reaching money goals.
which can feel miles away when
Yeah.
you're just trying to make it through the week.
Totally understandable. But any journey starts with knowing the destination,
Yeah.
right? And then the first step. Our sources suggest that even starting from this place of feeling broke, the budget is that first step. It helps you actually name a goal. Maybe it's saving 20 pounds for a birthday gift. Maybe it's paying off 10 pounds extra on a debt.
So it provides the framework to see a possibility, even a small one.
Yes. It maps out how you might get from A to B, even if B is just slightly better than A right now, both short-term and maybe planning for longer-term things.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've seen here is that budgeting, when you feel you have nothing, isn't an oxymoron. It's actually fundamental.
Seems like it. It's about gaining that control, that awareness.
Understanding where the money goes, no matter how little, and using that knowledge to take tiny, deliberate steps.
Towards stability, towards goals, building those financial muscles, like you said.
So it really is a tool for everyone, not just the comfortable.
Which leads to a good question for everyone listening, I think.
Yeah.
What's just one, maybe a really small financial goal you could start thinking about today, even with what you have right now? And how could just tracking where your money is currently going, just getting that basic picture, how might that help you see even a tiny path towards that goal?
Enjoying the video? Don't forget to like, share with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you never miss out on smart money tips that actually work.